I didn't drink. I haven't drank in 11 years.
Well,
That's
he's a Muslim.
funny.
If you love liberty, declare your independence by signing the Shire Society Declaration at shiresociety.com.
Good afternoon from a beautiful fall day in Keene, New Hampshire. I'm here with Will Coley, new Imam of the mosque that is currently being in the process of opened here in Keene. Hey, Will.
Hey,
what are we doing out here on this kind of chilly day?
Well, when we got here, we were told that the fact that the building was donated by the Shire Free Church would possibly give us some kind of an issue. Some members of the city bureaucracy are not big fans of the Free Keene movement. So what we tried to do was kind of offer an olive branch, you know, like you may feel the Free Keene people are here to start fights and cause problems. We're here as a community service. We're here to serve the local homeless and to educate and to provide a house of worship. And our way of trying to provide an olive branch and say, look, you know, here we're not here to fight with you, was to submit our application for a permit to put a sign in front of the masjid. Now, according to Reed versus Gilbert, Arizona, I do not, per the First Amendment, have to ask for said permission. But as an act of goodwill, I attempted to do so. Well, that act of goodwill has been rejected. There evidently are other government bureaucratic papers that they want me to fill out and to have other inspections done to the property. Again, this is a house of worship. Per my First Amendment right, I have a right to open this house of worship without their molestation. The city cannot prevent me from opening this house of worship, and if they choose to, there will be a First Amendment civil rights suit brought against them. I hope that that's not what will have to transpire because of this.
Which they just lost one, by the way,
Yeah.
versus the Robin Hooders.
Yeah.
Because they filed a civil suit against us for filling people's meters, called it a civil conspiracy against them, and, you know, wanted damages.
Well, there's no conspiracy here. We are just a community, a religious community that wants to open a house of worship. I am on my way to City Hall to try one last time to ask nicely for permission to put the sign in. I've spoke with my construction crew. Permission or no permission, the sign will be installed next week. We will open next weekend. So we're here to say, hey, look, we know we want you to acknowledge you, and we are here to do so. But we will not acknowledge you to the point that we will not open our house of worship in any way, shape, or form. We will not be late. We will have a sign. We will do it the way we want to. And if you do not allow us, we will sue you. Mr. Schneider.
Hi.
How are you today, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm good. I've been better if I hadn't got that email from you a little while ago.
Okay.
My name's Will Coley. I'm the Imam of the MALIC Center, the new mosque that's being opened here in Keene.
Okay.
I sent a application to you for a sign to put a sign up.
Yep.
All right. So what needs to happen? Because the sign's going up next week.
Well, the sign can't go up because you haven't gone through the process in order to justify.
According to Reed versus Gilbert, Arizona, that is not true.
Well, then you can talk to the city attorney or talk to an attorney, okay? I'm telling you what I know.
Okay.
All right? Is that in accordance with the building code, that is a change of use. It was a single-family home.
I called the city before we ever came up here and was informed by the city that that was a commercial property. It was an accountant's office.
That's right.
Okay.
That was his home. That was a home occupation where he worked out of his home.
Okay.
It was a single-family home.
All right. That entire property is a giant commercial property.
The building in which the sign is located in front of, okay,
Do you
was
have
a
an ordinance
single-family
that prevents
home.
houses of worship in family domiciles?
I'm telling you what the process is.
Okay, and I'm
Okay?
asking you
And
a question.
in order to change the use of that property from a single-family home to a commercial activity
It's not a
requires
commercial.
that a building permit be required.
It's a house of worship. It's not a commercial activity. It's a First Amendment.
How did your ordinances become, how did they create an obligation on anybody to do what you say?
I have no idea.
Why should anyone care
I have
about
no
what your
idea.
process is?
Don't have to care.
Well, what'll happen if we don't care?
I don't know that right now.
Okay.
You never
Well,
encountered
I
a
have-
situation like this before?
I don't know that right now.
This is a house of worship that's being put into this. It's been in the newspapers. It's been on the front page of the paper. It's been on NBC Boston. Everybody in this town that watches the news knows that there is a new mosque being put in at 659 Marlborough Street. Can you show me an ordinance that prevents a house of worship from being used from being opened in a residential structure?
I don't know that information.
Okay. If you can't show me an ordinance,
What you can do is you can talk to the zoning administrator, who is not here today.
Why would he want to do
He will
that?
be back Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, why would he want to do that?
And
You said he
perhaps-
can do that.
Then perhaps he can give you that information, or perhaps the city attorney.
Okay. So, moving forward, we are opening this weekend. We are putting a sign up this week. My lawyers will be contacted. I will also be, I've already been on the phone with the media and the
Okay.
Council of American Islamic Relations.
Okay.
We will have all the rights groups up here. We will
Okay.
make Keene national news if necessary.
Okay,
But
that
there-
sounds like a threat of some sort.
There will be a mosque
Okay.
built, put at 659 Marlborough that opens on November the 18th, and there will be a sign that advertises that we are there.
Okay?
If it's a First Amendment, if the city wants a First Amendment lawsuit, that's fine with
Okay,
me.
I'm not an attorney, okay? I can tell you from the code enforcement and zoning point of view what needs to be done.
Okay.
If you want to challenge those decisions, you can talk to my boss, John
Is there a
Rogers.
single piece of paperwork that I can fill out right now and that would be done with this?
No,
Then what is?
it won't happen that quick.
Okay. All right. Before I pick a fight, what kind of time constraints are we talking
What do you mean
about?
by pick a fight? What do you mean by that?
Before I call my lawyer and have them come down here and raise hell, what kind
That
of
sounds
time
like a threat as
constraint
well.
are we? You can take it however you like.
Okay.
I didn't come to this town to pick a fight. I came to this town to open a
Right.
community
I'm
center
not
and
gonna
a
argue
worship
with
center.
you, okay? I'm not
So-
going to argue with you, so I'm going to go back in my office, okay? What I would suggest is that come Monday morning, you talk with John Rogers.
Okay, I asked the question, what kind of time constraints are we talking about here? And you haven't given me an answer.
You
What
haven't given me
kind-
a permit application to change the use. You haven't given me any plans on what needs to be done.
Nothing needs to be
That shows
done.
that verifies compliance with the the state's building code.
What are the state's building codes for houses of worship?
The state's building code is the
No.
International Code Conference Building Code 2009
What
version. That
is the
the
state's
state
building code for houses of worship? First Amendment protected pieces of property. They are completely different than any other regular commercial structure. What are the city's codes for
Houses of worship are not exempt from the building code.
Since when?
Since when?
Since when?
I've worked for the city for 35 years.
So this city,
No, it's a state building code, the state of New Hampshire building code.
so I have to sue the state of New Hampshire.
Well, no, the question is, what are they going to do?
Go ahead.
You know, he's not saying what he's going to do because he doesn't want to admit on camera that you're the one who's actually threatening
I don't know
people,
what the city's
right?
going to do right now, and I'm not going to go down that road at this point.
Well, let's see. Generally,
Where's
the
the city
city.
attorney's office.
Downstairs, third floor.
Third floor it is. Thank you. All right. I move to this.
This is what happens when you ask permission. They're going to make up some rules for you to follow.
It's all right. I'll just do what I want if I have to.
Hi,
Hi. I need to speak to the city attorney.
to the city attorney. Okay. May I tell him your name?
My name's William Coley. I'm the Imam of the new mosque that's being blocked by your city by upstairs.
William.
Coley.
Gentleman here looking to speak to Tom.
Yep.
Barbara's
Can I help
his
you?
assistant.
Oh my God, Ian, it's been so long.
Oh, hi there. How are you?
Really
Only this time he's following.
long
along.
and not missed.
I'm opening the new mosque at 659 Marlborough Street.
Okay.
And the upstairs folks just blocked our sign permit. They said we were supposed to ask for some other permission of some kind from you guys.
Okay.
I'm here to find out time constraints and whether or not we're just going to move forward and hopefully you guys act in a legal action and then I can sue for First Amendment
Okay.
infringements. or-
The city attorney is in a meeting. He's going to be tied up all afternoon. So I'm going to have to take your name and your number, and we're going to have to get back to you.
Okay, well,
Okay.
there's a very, very tight time constraint.
I understand that, but
We open the 18th, the sign goes up on Wednesday. So,
okay. Well, all I can tell you is that somebody will get back to you at this point. So let me give you paper and pencil. You can put your name and address on there. I mean your name and telephone number.
You said you didn't miss me. I do like it when you all leave us alone. But tried to tell Will he shouldn't have come in and asked you guys.
Yeah, actually, this guy here told me don't go for a permit because this right here will happen. And instead, because of the fact that I didn't want there to be like some kind of a negative association between our house of worship, which will be supplying service space to 20 Muslim families locally, we went for the permit. And lo and behold, it looks like the Free Staters were right.
I don't know the circumstances. I don't know the circumstances behind your permit application.
4 extra.
So we will have to look into it.
Okay.
So we'll look into it and we'll get back to you.
We plan to proceed.
I understand what you're saying.
Grand opening is November the 18th. It'll be announced in the newspaper, just like every other step so far has been announced in the local newspaper. So, I mean, if you're going to send a rating party to rate our grand opening, it will be, you know.
You don't really think we would do that?
I don't know what you would do. You're a government agency, so.
Do you know you smell like alcohol?
I don't drink. I haven't drank in 11 years.
Wow,
That's
he's a Muslim.
funny.
Come on.
I'm Muslim. I'm an Imam. I haven't drank in 11 years.
Okay, well, whatever. I'll give Tom your message.
You want to draw some blood? I mean, I would love for you to draw blood and see 0 and then apologize to me for
We'll
that.
get back to you. Is that 805?
865. I still don't even know how to react to being accused of that. I just got accused by the...
When's the last time you had a drink?
The last time I had a drink was spring of 2007. So...
10 years ago.
10 years, almost 11 years since I've had a drop of alcohol. But evidently I smell like I've been drinking all day. So, yeah. Well, no, I mean, if there's an insult to throw at a Muslim, it's you smell like a drunk. That's definitely an insult for a Muslim. So, that was pretty cute.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
All right, have a nice day. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Well, there's gonna have a whole lot more apologies when my lawyers get through with these folks if they don't approve my application. Because I'm moving forward regardless. And you should. Well, like I said, I didn't come here to pick a fight. The fact that I filed this paperwork at all is showing that I wasn't here. I don't want the conflict. The city, it's a First Amendment issue. It's a house of worship. We have the right to a house of worship. We have a right to use our space as a house of worship if we choose to.
Absolutely.
Basically what they're saying is that like back home in Tennessee, where we have like dozens of these kinds of things, where houses, homes, domestic dwellings have been turned into houses of worship because they're cheaper. It's cheaper to turn a home into a house of worship than it is to buy a giant commercial space. So because of that, I have never heard of any church of that type having to go through any kind of a legal issue with getting opened. And, you know, this is a first for me. I've never seen a religious center be told, no, you can't open. We need more paperwork from you. So, I mean, at this point, the city can either approve the application or it's a First Amendment issue, and we'll call the rights groups and we'll sue the city. You want to prevent the opening of a house of worship? You're welcome to. It'll cost the Keene taxpayers, unfortunately, because the people who are causing the problem, nothing will ever come out of their wallet.
Yep.
But what will happen is, if they reject this, it'll be just like Murfreesboro. The city of Murfreesboro spent $300,000 trying to prevent that mosque in Murfreesboro from being open. And what happened when it was all done was the city spent $300,000. And that was it. The mosque's still open, nothing stopped it, nothing changed. And that's what will happen here. The city of Keene will try to stop us. The mosque will open anyway. If we have to, we will sue. The city will spend thousands upon thousands of the taxpayer of Keene's money. And in the end, they'll lose, because a lawsuit against a house of worship opening is not a one that you're going to win. Maybe in South Korea, but this is America.
Right on, brother. They'll lose again.
I'm okay. Like I said, I didn't want to fight. I don't want to cost the taxpayers of Keene money. I wanted to come here. We've come here. We don't ask for grants. We're offering services to the homeless that would normally be paid for by taxpayer money. We're providing those services free of charge. We are collecting donations in order to do that. I'm using my own wealth. I'm using the wealth of our community and friends and family all over the country. We have businesses that have sponsored us. We have support. We have the support of the Keene community. I've had so many people come that are like, we are so glad that you're going to be here, and not only that you're coming here, but that your plan is specifically community service related. That you come here with the specific intention of serving the community. And the city's response is, well, if you want to serve the community, you got to ask us if it's okay first. And I reject the idea that I have to ask a government bureaucrat for permission to do good. To me, this is no different than arresting someone for feeding the homeless, arresting someone for praying in the streets. We want to open a house of worship, plain and simple. You want to block us because you think we should fill out more bureaucratic paperwork. I called and asked, do you need more bureaucratic paperwork? Before we ever came to New Hampshire, and I was told no. And I proceeded forward based on that. I will not delay our opening because of a bureaucrat. I don't play that way. I don't believe God plays that way. Every inch of every piece of space on earth is a masjid. It's a place to pray. And that includes the dwelling that we plan to put this mosque in. If the city doesn't acknowledge that, that's fine. After my lawyers get through with them, they'll be happy to change their tune.
We'd like to invite you to visit freekeene.com. Freekeene.com features audio, video, and blogs chronicling the transition to a voluntary society. Freekeene.com also has comments and discussion forums so you can be heard. Freekeene.com.
I should be in Keene, New Hampshire with the Free Staters.